for showing up today. You have landed in Google Classroom Debrief. I'm Jeff Samuelson, one of Elementary DLS, and my cohort today is...
I'm Andrea Gray. I see a bunch of my friends on here. Hi, guys.
I have a bunch of friends on here, and I have some friends on here too. We're all friends in this room. So today, what we wanted to do is just give an opportunity for everybody to just talk a little bit about their Google Classroom experience. You know, at the beginning of all of this, when this all got started, people kind of had to choose a platform, and some folks had already been using Google Classroom or another platform. Maybe they've used Canvas a little bit or Seesaw. But over the last few weeks, a lot of us in the DLS department and probably in all of the schools heard, you know, heard just all these things about how it was going for Google Classroom and some concerns and some celebrations and all that. So we thought today we would take, you know, our 45 minutes and just make it this big share fest, this debrief. How did, you know, things like how did it go for you? What were some successes? What were some challenges? And then looking to the future, what do you think you might want to do on down the road? So it's just going to be a big discussion like that. I think we are going to be sharing a little bit of, Andrea's going to be sharing her screen here in a little bit after we get going with our talk. And just kind of give you, just kind of show you a little bit how her classroom is set up, because we have some sample classrooms. Talk a little bit about how you may have used your topics for organization and all of that kind of a thing. So that's how we're going to do it today, but we're going to be super flexible. And if y'all want to go talk about a particular thing, you can just unmute your mic and ask questions, or you can put it in the chat because we'll monitor that as well. Does that sound good? Thumbs up from everybody? Yay. All right. So let's get rolling. So the first thing, let's just kind of tone of, you know, how was it getting going in Google Classroom? What was going through your mind? What did you have to go through to get things set up and going? Just give us some stories or some feedback about that.
Well, Jeff, Andrea helped me get my Google Classroom set up at the beginning of the school year. So the good thing for us, I teach at Foster Village, and we share all third grade students. So all 60 students are in one Google Classroom. And wow. That's the only thing, is that there's a lot of kids on there, but it was already set up like that, and I didn't want to change it after we had started online learning, because I was afraid it would be confusing to have to do a join code for new classes, and my other two teachers hadn't ever done Google Classroom before. So it's been okay. We set everything up by topic. So if they click on Classwork at the top, we only leave current assignments there, and then we made a topic called past assignments. So after the week is over, we go and change the topic to past assignments, and then it kicks everything down to the bottom so that when they click on Classwork, it only shows what they have to do that week. So that has helped a little bit.
That is awesome, because I know I've fielded a lot of questions about not only in Google Classroom, but the other platforms as well, as how do I organize these things? Some folks wanted to do it by week. Some folks wanted to do it by, you know, Monday through Friday and just put dates on there and that kind of a thing. And then the question invariably came up, you know, what do I do with these old assignments? Because the kids are going to be sifting through all of these things. So I'm really super glad that you shared how you guys dealt with that. Anybody else have anything about, any stories about how they use their topics to do some organization or anything like that?
How do you have it organized? Does everybody do it by week, or do you do it by subject? How are you organizing?
Vicki, Levitt, and I do it by week. And then we should shift things down. And so like the most current's at the top. And if we have like quizzes for the day, we put that at the top, and we just kind of have it so by week so they can see where they are. And that's helped, I think, a lot too.
Here at Northridge, our 5th grade team, we have daily slides of every single subject in Google Slides for the entire week. And then down below those, then we have the individual subjects, just in case one of the daily slides doesn't work. But we have them by subject, by day for the entire week on Google Slides, with the links embedded to go into everything from going to the portal to videos, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. And my daughter's in the Northridge 5th grade, and I really like it that y'all do it like that, because she can just see on one slide all the links for every single subject and not have to look around for it. That's one thing that we've had some kids that don't know to click Classwork at the top, so they're trying to sift through the stream, and it's very confusing. So I like that page.
Yeah, it makes it all unified. The one thing I did learn that wasn't about topics, but my very first week, I didn't know that you could actually schedule everything. So I got up at the crack of dawn that very first week to make sure that everything was scheduled. And yeah, so that was a learning curve, learning that you could schedule things. So that was
See a lot of heads nodding. Yes, we did that too.
Yeah. I stayed up to midnight. I was like, okay, I'm going to make this live at midnight. And then some of the parents got dings that night. They're like, why are you up at midnight? I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Yes, yes, yes.
One of the things
I love to hear those things, if we're not making mistakes and we're not really learning, are we? So I love to hear that we're kind of taking it as we go and making improvements. Just think of where we'll be when we start back at the school, right?
Kidding, yeah. Who else? I think somebody else started to talk, saying one of the things maybe.
one of the things that we started doing, Julie Bates and I teach math and science.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have 2 other teachers that do reading and social studies. And one thing that helps is we have one sheet that all 4 teachers post in their classrooms. That's the overview for the week. And it has all of the assignments from every class. So every parent knows what they're supposed to be doing that week. So if Billy says, oh no, I didn't have any science this week, Mom can look at the sheet and say, well, it says right here you do. So let's go find it.
Perfect.
I love that too. For my personal, my personal children, they need a to-do list. So it's nice to have that overview.
And
We
they
can
check
check
it
it
off
off.
as they go.
Is anybody else helping their students organize that way or in a different way? Okay, so you've talked about some things that you've learned about organization from the beginning of the year, or beginning of all of this. I feel like it's been a year from the beginning of all of this to now. So let's talk about a different topic besides organization. How about your quality of work? Like maybe the assignments that you assigned in the beginning, how has that changed over the past 6 weeks?
Hey, this is Rhonda King from Stowe.
Hey,
I
Rhonda.
feel like at first I was just posting a lot of just here's information, throwing it at them. And now I've gotten into where I'm going into Google Slides and making interactive things that they actually have to add to.
So give me an example of something interactive that you're having them do.
Like they have to go in and like for their spelling words, I show them pictures and then the word, and then for the activity, they have to go in and match the picture and the word together. They have to match them up, or they'll be missing letters and they have to fill in the missing letters.
Oh, I hear Rhonda is creating awesome templates.
Thank you, Tony.
That's what this is about. Maybe we all need to contact Rhonda and get her templates.
You'll need to share with everyone.
One of the struggles that I've been helping teachers overcome is trying to go from just a simple worksheet or a simple recall type thing and being able to hear their thinking in some way. Does anybody have ideas or things that have evolved in that fashion?
I was just going to say, I know that my team, we were struggling with Pearson because Pearson wasn't used to all the foot trafficking. So luckily my team and I, with the courtesy of Tony, learned about Vocaroo and using that. And we've been doing all of our lessons where we're reading the chapters to the kids because Pearson is not as user-friendly as STEMscopes is. So I wish everything was set up as easy as STEMscopes was.
So Vocaroo, is anybody else using Vocaroo? Yes, I see some nods. Awesome. So it's a site where you can record your voice and then attach that recording to a slide or something like that. So it's Vocaroo. I know there's something it's kind of new for Google Slides with inserting audio. Jeff, do you want to talk about that?
It's Moat. Is that correct? I think that's what it's called.
That was a Google Classroom. I was just talking about the voiceovers in slides.
Oh, yeah. What app did we land on for that?
I know, yeah. So it's still a lot like Vocaroo. So you have to record your voice and save the file. But now you can directly insert a link to an audio file in a slide, whether it's a Vocaroo audio or just off of your computer, whatever, your camera app or, whatever you're using.
Yeah, we're gonna have to find the name of that app that we saw and we'll put it in the resources on Canvas, add that in there as well. So,
Oh, yep. Tony, Pear Deck also has a new audio tool for teachers. So you can record your voice directly on a slide through Pear Deck. And I have been in contact with our Pear Deck rep. I bug him a lot, but he has assured me that we will soon have the ability to assign students a slide where they can record their voice on a slide in Pear Deck. So I'm excited about that one. All right, so let's jump over to some feedback type conversations. How difficult is it to get to everyone every week? Is it overwhelming, the amount of assignments that you're having to go through, or what's your procedure for giving feedback?
I have learned that when I return assignments, I can select the people with A's and B's and say, good job. And if my kids are struggling, I can send them a different message and send them all at the same time, the same message. So I'm sending 5 kids, great job if they passed. If I have kids struggling, those kids will get a different message that says, hey, come to tutoring at this time, or I've reassigned it for you so you can go back and redo it. So that's been real helpful for getting those comments in.
So you said an A or a B, or if they passed or failed. How do you have that set up in your Google Classroom right now?
So everything's numerical grades. I've actually had a conversation with a parent yesterday, like, well, why are we getting numerical grades if it's pass fail? And I explained that a grade is how much they understand of the material. So if they get an 85, that means they understand 85% of the concept. And that's just to make them aware of what's going on so that they can see what their understanding is of the material. Does that make sense?
It does, and I think kids are used to grades, so that makes sense to them.
So,
parents are used to grades, so that makes sense to them.
Yes.
Anybody else have a system for that, for grading? How about the rubric feature? Is anybody using the rubric feature on Google Classroom? Nobody's played with it. Nobody's looking at that rubric feature at all. I'm not saying
I played around with it, but it requires me to play around with it a little bit more. I created a rubric for one of my writing assignments, but I don't know. I need to watch a video about how to do it in a succinct amount of time without me having to click through, because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just, trying to figure it out as I go, but it was okay. I liked it. I think for next year when I teach writing or whatever it is I'm doing on Google Classroom, then I think that it would be beneficial if I already had a rubric and I'm just inputting it on Google Classroom.
I've played with it a little bit too. I haven't really gotten into depth with it either, but I think you can save them and reuse the same rubric over and over again, which is really nice. I see some Vicky's talking about how overwhelming it is to stay on top of it, which is kind of normal life for us, right? Even when we're in the classroom, we stay overwhelmed with staying on top of everything. But how has that changed for you being at home? Does you have a good system for staying on top of assignments coming in at different times? And
the biggest problem that I have is I want to be able to help my students when they need help, and they don't always need help between 9 and 11 and 1 and 3 or whatever the magic times are that we're supposed to be working. So if I've got, Billy who's finally doing some work at 9 o'clock at night, I'm going to answer the call and help him, which is fine. But, Susie's up at 7 and she needs help then. So then you've got parents calling you during their lunch hour because, they say they clicked the turn in button, and I'm saying they didn't do the work. So it just, it's just like everybody else is going through right now. It's just a lot.
Well, I have definitely been slacking on my own children's classwork. So if they're turning in complete crap to their teachers, I got nothing because they tell me they do it.
Erin, I'm right there with you.
I'm so concerned about my own 60 students and them turning in junk that's been one of the down things, is that I can't always look at my own kids' work when they need my help because, so.
I'm with you, Erin. I finally told my kids today, I said, your schoolwork starts at 4 o'clock when I'm done with my job. Yeah. And I can help you at that point. And like, well, it's family time. I'm like, well, sorry, we'll do school because you play all day long.
Yeah. Family time looks a little different now, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
One more thing on the quality of work that's coming in from kids. You know, it's easy when you're in the classroom and you see them face to face, and you can have those conversations in small groups with them when they turn in their journal to you, or just paper or worksheet or whatever. It's just they have to learn what the quality is that you're wanting now that it's online, and that's super hard to do. And you give yourself grace and time, both for you and for your students, to be able to give them that feedback, whether it's a global comment to the class inside of a classroom, or whether it's the private remarks, just letting them know. And it's going to take a while for them to do that, you know. And I know we've been doing this, what, 5 weeks now, or somewhere in that ballpark, or whatever, 6 weeks now. And they're still going to learn. You know, you may have used Classroom or some other platform while you were in your class in, you know, workstations and things like that. But again, that feedback was easy to give because they were right there. It's a little bit more difficult. And like Vicki said, it takes more time to establish that routine and provide examples of what exactly it looks like, that kind of a thing. So y'all are awesome for doing all of those things and the frustrations. That's why we wanted to have this session. We wanted you all to feel other people are in that same boat, right? And those kinds of things going on, and the family thing too, taking care of your own kids, and being able to work with them and all of that. But just know it's going to take the rest of this time, and you're probably still going to get the ups and downs of the quality of work, you know, and for them to learn it, and that's okay. And we all know that. So we're here to support. If you have other individual questions about how can I help them see what I'm really wanting them to give me, your neighborhood friendly DLS will be happy to meet with you on Zoom, or, you know, call you, or whatever you need to talk through those kinds of things. So any other challenges that you might want to talk about or share about before we kind of transition to our next thing to talk about?
We have a question in the chat, Jeff.
Okay.
If we use the gradebook feature in Classroom, what does it look like on the student's end?
So do you want to show them on your screen what it might
Sure.
look like? Did you give me a grade for anything I turned into you?
I was going to say, why don't you share your screen since you're the student in the class, and you can
Okay.
show what it looks like on your end.
Do that. Just one moment. So I'm a student in Andrea's practice class. And if I go into Classwork, I turned in, where did it go?
This is what the kids see.
Right.
Yes. So I'm in her class, and then I'm clicking around as a student in there. I saw that. I don't want to see that part of it.
Go to the
You
one that
can-
says turned in.
Oh, view details. There we go. Let me get my screen. Okay. So I'm viewing the details. Let me get you guys out of the way. So I'm viewing the details on my assignment. It was worth 100 points. I guess I didn't turn it. Let me turn it in real quick.
I think you send it back to me.
Yeah. I took it back from you yesterday when we were playing.
I just wanted to catch up, so.
But you'll notice they don't have the grades tab
Right.
that we have.
They don't have that. And then when it's graded, I think you'll come in to view the work and view the details, and the grades will be in here, but they don't have that same tab that you guys see when you're in as a teacher. Yeah. So they'll go into their assignments and be able to see that when they're viewing their work, they'll be able to see when they go in and view their details, but they won't obviously see anybody else's classroom or anybody else's grades.
So I think that one may have been ungraded. So Jeff, if you'll go back to that assignment. Go back to your work. And then the one that says turned in, the 3 questions. Yeah. Yeah.
Details.
So that's where they'll see their comments. If we left any, like I left Jeff some comments over there on the side. And if it was a graded assignment, they would have their grade there too. So they do not see everybody else's grades.
Does that make sense for the question in the chat?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, good question. Okay, so we've been talking about some challenges and spending a good amount of time doing that. Let's kind of turn it around and talk about successes. Things that you're seeing that maybe kids are showing you work in a different fashion. You're getting more from them. Maybe they're giving you more in comments back to you. Just little successes after all of this hard work and overcoming those challenges. What good things can you share, and stories, success stories, things like that?
Does anybody have students who were reluctant to share or reluctant to even do any work in the classroom but are now kind of thriving in this environment?
We definitely had some kids that were behavior issues that, you know, in the classroom, they just couldn't, even though high academically, they couldn't show their work because of their behavior. And they have thrived at home because there is not the distraction around them. And so they've been able to complete their work and quickly and well. And it's been really nice not to have to get onto that child every single day.
Vicki shared that there are some students that are getting more help at home than she might be able to give them at school. So
that's really nice to hear. Yay.
More parent time.
I know my son has ADHD and just struggles to stay focused anyway, no matter what we're doing. But this situation has kind of been perfect for him to be able to pace himself at his own speed and take breaks when he needs to. And he also has some anxiety issues. So sharing in class has never been his thing, but he loves to do flip grids and things like that. So the online environment has been amazing. Does anybody have students maybe similar to that?
When we do a flip grid, we get more responses if we hide the videos than if we let all of the kids see them. Because we still have some of those kids that are shy, that they don't want everybody to see it.
Right.
And that was something we learned.
Right. Just kind of the same thing with Google assignments. They're able to share their work with just you and not worry about what their friend can see over their shoulder or anything like that. So it's nice to hear.
I think the one thing that as the weeks have gone on, the routines are getting easier. Them being able to maneuver the slides have gotten easier. To access the websites have gotten easier. It's just, you know, all those glitches at first. And then, you know, some of the aha moments I've had is like making sure if I'm making Google Slides that I make a copy of it, that I share it correctly. And then with the Google Forms, something I didn't know is that you need to make sure you put your name your name at the top, because if not, you don't know whose it is. That's something I learned week 2. So, you know, because if you don't put your name at the top, you don't know who it came from. So,
right. Right.
I've been on that page. I also click on the settings, collect email addresses on every single form that I do, because I've had some kids that have not typed their name correctly, or they skipped that, even though they like put a gibberish word in there or something, you know, or they could type each other's name and I wouldn't know that it wasn't that kid. We've had problems with kids stealing other kids' kids' points.
And you said in the settings,
yeah, the little gear, and you can also click it to have them only accept one response, because I'll have kids that, you know, as long as they do it, I'm counting it as being done. I don't want them to do it 20 times, because then it's filling up my screen with 20 responses, and yeah, they're going to get 100 after the 20th response. But you know, I can decide on that. There's some other settings too on there that I like to play around with every time I create a form. So that's been really nice.
And I also noticed that private comment form where if like they're doing work and they do something wrong, like especially math, I noticed if they multiplied instead of divide to get an answer, stuff like that, that's been useful as well.
Mm-hmm.
Vicki and I had discovered that in order for the Google form to import, that you can only allow one response. But we're allowing our kids to edit their response so that they can go back and change their responses to work on their mastery, because we want them to have mastery of a concept. And it saves us time from having to go check the Google form and then kind of type the grades in.
Okay, so we talked about, Jeff, that we were going to use the last few minutes to show some resources. So has anyone, give me a thumbs up if you have used Jamboard before. Jamboard. Oh, nice. Okay, so that's going to be a new resource. Fun. Okay, so Jamboard is a whiteboard app. It is available in your Waffle. I'm trying to share my screen here and make sure I do the right one. Okay, so if you go to your waffle and you scroll down a little bit, you'll see Jamboard. We're going to talk about this little window in just a minute, but there is a Google app as well. So we're going to stay in the web version for now because we know that everybody has the web version. The thing about the app is if you're on a PC, you can't use it. So some of our students are still using PC. So we're going to look at the Chrome version first. So I'm going to stay in Chrome. Okay, I'm going to open a new jam.
Thinking hard.
It is thinking hard. Oh, you know it's going to do that to us. There we go.
There we are.
It's kind of nice to see those errors happen to everyone, huh? Okay, so here's your clear frame, your whiteboard. There are pen tools. So I can choose a pen, a marker, a highlighter, or a paintbrush and write on the screen. This is, of course, an eraser. These are sticky notes, which is really fun. So if I can type words. So it puts sticky notes on the screen. I can also go in and bring in a picture. So one of the things that I've been helping teachers with is what do I do with these PDFs that come from Think Central or Go, what's it called, Pebble Go, things like that. What do I do with those? How do I assign those? So I pulled up one. If I wanted to assign this worksheet, I'm going to use my snip tool. Yay, my favorite thing. And snip whatever part I want to put on. It's now saved into my folder. And I can pull it in as an image. And I can make it bigger. Then my kids, I can assign this in Google Classroom and my kids can come in and use the pen tool to show their work on the picture. Isn't that awesome? Or I can use this as, I can use my screencast tool, whatever, Screencastify or Loom or whatever your favorite is, and I can demonstrate what I want them to do using pen tools, and there's even a laser pointer. Kind of fun. Okay. So the difference between this and the app, I want to show you that because this is kind of basic, just a low-level worksheet type thing. But if I wanted to up the rigor a little bit and get a little bit more interaction from my students, I can have them go in and get the Jamboard app, and we can help you with how to help them do that. And in the Jamboard app, I have this little plus sign over here that has a few more tools. So if I did the same thing and I went in and put that image, that's not what I wanted. There we go. And I'm just using my finger to pinch that and expand it out. Then I can have them do the same thing with the pen tool, but this time, if they do the plus sign, they can go in and use the camera and record themselves and tell me about what they're doing while they're doing it. So that ups your interaction with them, lets you get a little bit more insight into what they're thinking, and takes the rigor to another level. So it's not just a worksheet anymore. So we also thought about, things like which one doesn't belong. You could put 4 pictures on the screen and have them use the camera and record their thoughts for you. I mean, possibilities are endless there, but this little plus sign is only available on the Google Play Store app for Jamboard. So you'll need it and they'll need it. There are stickers they can pull from. There's some graphic organizers that are already pre-done, a blank clock. I mean, all kinds of things.
And so like Andrea said, you can assign it in Google Classroom, and if you just assign it straight out, it can be a collaborative thing, or you can pass out a copy to each student, and then each of them gets their own, and then they can give you their own feedback, you know, through sticky notes or just using a pen tool or using the camera feature. If they, you know, happen to be on one of the, happen to be on a Chromebook and be able to do that.
The other feature I don't think I brought up was this up here. If you wanted to sign it as a collaborative, but you wanted each kid to have their own page, you could do that. So you can come up with, you know, you could put the student's name at the top, so each student has their own page, and you would have them find theirs and do their work on their own page, and then maybe have them comment on each other's. If you wanted to get some peer feedback going, something like that. What do we think about Jamboard? We lost everybody. No.
Hi, Andrea. It's Tammy.
Hi.
I'm a math interventionist, so I love the idea of even having the student comment verbally instead of have to actually do the work, because so many of my kids have accommodations in place, and that would be very helpful for my kids.
Awesome. Same thing. When I saw that, I've been looking for a feature for Google Slides that would allow the kids to, you know, things like that for a while now, and I just haven't found an easy way for especially littles to be able to do that. But this seems like just a click of a button. So they should be able to figure out how to do that, record straight on the screen, which is awesome. Are you all playing on Jamboard now? Is that what's happening?
I have to admit, when I'm using this as my teach piece, it works out great, but I would like to be able to insert a text box where I can type. When I use my finger or a stylus or the mouse, it looks like a kindergartner writing with their toes. That's how well you can read it.
Okay, so Jeff found where to put text, right? So if we go on the Jamboard app, not the one on the web version, you have these assistive drawing tools. And if you have terrible handwriting or whatever, you just want it to change it to something pretty, I can handwrite. Oops. And it will change it to the letter for me.
I'm getting the app. Thanks.
Also, you can do shapes. So if we have kids who the dreaded cube, right? Oh wait, that was this one. I'm sorry, other one. Jeff and I were playing with this yesterday. Did you mean one of these? And they can scroll through and see what they really meant in one of these.
Oh.
Isn't that fun? So if you're a terrible drawer, it will fix it for you. So maybe I meant a box, so it'll change it to the box for me. So those are the assistive drawing tools down here. Jeff drew a really cute bunny yesterday, and it changed it for him.
There you go.
See how good I am?
Excellent drawing.
Yeah, so the kids will love that. So that it's not necessarily a text box, but it does make your letters prettier. You could also use the sticky note feature, I guess, and type on it.
Yeah, because the sticky notes, I think, will continue to grow as you type.
So sort of a text box.
No, the sticky notes don't grow.
They don't grow. This is the text just gets smaller in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can, I mean, you can keep going like that, but when you hit done, then it's still that big.
Ah, there you go.
And then if I, yeah, I can pinch.
Yeah.
But you can, I mean, you can make me out to be a liar. It wouldn't hurt my feelings. Because that's
Oh,
the
not
issue
at
I have
all.
with Jamboard.
And if you're using the web app, things do work a little differently than they do on this Play Store app.
Mm-hmm.
They
Yeah,
do.
I'll be getting that as soon as this is over.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We were super excited about that.
It is great because Vicki and I have been trying to use this, and just a lot of great info is coming in on this.
Cool.
Say that again, Julie. I missed the end of it.
Oh, Vicki and I have been playing around with this, but you guys are showing us some great stuff that we hadn't seen and figured out with. We've just been using it on the website.
Yeah. The funny story about that is I got a ticket assigned to me about Jamboard and didn't remember why I even requested the app in the first place until I started playing with it and went, oh yeah, it has all these fun extra tools that would be amazing for kids. That's why. So we got really nerdy and excited about it, didn't we, Jeff?
Yes, we did. Well, and the thing about it is that, you know, through all of our conversations, whether it's been on Google Classroom or Seesaw or Canvas or whatever, I mean, teachers are wanting those interactive pieces. How do I, you know, moving from, hey, just look at a PDF or whatever and give me some reaction back, to I want the kids to actually move things around on the screen and interact and make comments that everybody can see. This is just another platform that's available for that interactive, collaborative work to be done. And, you know, any of us would be happy to sit and chat with you over Zoom or however you wanted to brainstorm more about this and decide how it might work and how you could set up your activities, things like that. So we just wanted to share something that we probably didn't think you had seen or seen very much.
So we're at the end of our time. We wanted to show you a couple of our favorite places to go for ideas. If you want to grab this, I'm so sorry, my dogs, of course, want to go in and out when we're trying to talk. But down here at the bottom, there's a bit.ly. You can go to bit.ly/GC Debrief. And then these buttons you'll be able to click on them to get to the link. So Jeff, do you want to talk about this first one?
Yeah, so we also put this graphic in the Canvas course. So I'm just going to remind you, if you've not signed up for our Canvas course that has all of our sessions listed on it, please do that, and you can give us a little bit feedback or a little bit reflection questions there that will earn you a badge for this class. And then the video of this session will be posted there probably tomorrow by noon-ish, something like that. So if you need to go back and listen to something, you'll be able to do that. But the first one, the Google Classroom, that's Matt Miller from the Ditch That Textbook series. He's just amazing at generally everything in the whole wide world, but he has this great Google Classroom, and it says Quick Start Guide because the first part of it actually talks a little bit more about the basics of getting started in a classroom, which y'all probably are ahead of right now, obviously. But then down towards the bottom of this webpage, there's all manner of tips and tricks and resources, making things interactive. How do I organize my classroom? How do I deal with differentiation among students? You know, those kinds of things. So it's all there. It's all free. It's just awesome.
Okay, and then this button is to take you to the Play Store to get Jamboard if you want to do the more robust app. This one is another Matt Miller resource. He has tons. So if you are low on time, you might need to like set yourself a goal, like I'm only going to click on this one thing, because if you're like me, I spend hours he has so much good stuff that it's hard to stop. So he has a tab designated just to e-learning, so you can go in there and see lots and lots and lots of really good templates that you can use in your Google Classroom, as well as a million other things. And then this last one is Casey Bell. Casey Bell has a website called Shake Up Learning, and she also has some remote learning resources. Her podcast is amazing. If you're looking for something to inspire some lessons, this is a good place to go as well.
Yeah, she has all manner of things, just like Matt Miller does. I mean, just everything you can think of, and more things that you didn't think of about how do I roll with Classroom, and the things that you can do. She's just great. She's just great.
Yeah. Okay, so we are at the end of our session. Thank you guys for coming. If you want to stick around and ask a few more questions, Jeff and I will stay on. If you're ready to go, we will see you next time.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
Thank you for joining us for this innovative learning bite. Remember, if you want to connect with us, you can reach out over social media, Facebook and Twitter, or if you're a Birdville employee, please remember to join the Innovative Learning Bites Kitchen on Canvas. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.